There we are. Hello, everyone. We're 7 minutes late because we're fucking big time, and that's how we do it. We call it roll in whenever we want. Fuck you. Not really. I don't know why the shit didn't work, so here we are anyway. What's up, Gino?
What's going on, Sean?
Not much.
Not a whole lot. And what's new in the world of news?
News, like news, or like wrestling news?
That's a quote from News Radio. Jimmy James.
Oh,
I bought the first 2 seasons on YouTube the other day, and I've been watching
you're
them.
just you're in love with Joe Rogan, aren't you? This is what this is about.
No, Rogan's really good in that show, but he was talking about it on his podcast that I was listening to one day, and it reminded me. I was like, oh my God, we just got paid the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking buy those if they have them available. And I looked, and they have the first 3 seasons. So I bought the first 2, and I've just been kind of binging on them. It's a great show, man. It's one of my favorite sitcoms, I think. And
it's pretty awesome.
Jimmy James is just the greatest character. And then Phil Hartman, of course, I think that was his final role as Bill McNeil.
Yep.
Was really fucking entertaining. Just so much. It's just such a great show.
Yep.
So, when you spend all your time on the internet and you're dicking around writing about wrestling, sometimes it's nice to just have something funny on in the background. And that is what I do.
I can't write with anything on in the background, so that's why I'm totally behind. I don't watch anything anymore.
You have to give all your concentration to whatever you're writing on?
Pretty much, yep.
That's really how it is for you?
I can't listen to music with lyrics. Yeah, I can't do it.
Wow, no background noise. No music with lyrics. Like soundscapes and shit, you can do that, but not.
I can do like classical or jazz or like ambient, yeah, but I can't if it's got words, I can't focus.
Tupac's in the background singing "Hit 'Em Up," and you're just like, I can't. I got to write about Luke Harper.
Right. That's right. I'll accidentally "Hit It Up" 16 times in my.
Grab your Glocks when you see Tupac.
I saw a trailer. You haven't seen it yet. But I saw there's a Tupac movie coming out, like a biography. I saw the trailer for it before Wick 2. I'm not sure if I'm okay with it. I don't know.
Is it like historical footage or like they're a new person?
No, it's like there's a guy playing Tupac and there's a guy playing Tupac's mom. I guess it's like
who's the guy playing Pac?
Somebody who sort of looks like him, but I would have rather they got somebody who doesn't look like him at all, because this guy kind of looks like him, but it's also clearly not him, so it completely threw me off just in the preview. I guess it's because the NWA movie did so well. See, I can't even think about hip hop and wrestling at the same time without
crazy motherfucking name Ice Cube. You don't know the guy playing Pac though?
I don't. He is not somebody that I recognize as like a big star. I'll look it up for.
How white do I sound saying that? Do you know the fellow playing Tupac?
Gentleman who will be playing Mr. Shakur.
Mr. Shakur. He's got the dopest name ever, though, right? Tupac is a really fucking cool name. Like, I wish I had a cool name like that.
It is true.
I know. Tupac Shakur. Like, that's a baller fucking name. Yeah.
Demetrius Shipp Jr. will be playing Mr. Tupac.
Doesn't ring a bell. So, all right.
No.
That's okay. I'll probably watch it because I'm a.
It looks kind of. Most of the reason I don't like it is it fucking makes me feel old. So that's
Yeah. It's weird. He died in 96. That feels a long time ago now, but not that long to me, and that's why you're getting older.
It's 21 years ago. So
Jesus, dude.
Yep.
My God. Mm-hmm. That's a full-grown person who can drink legally. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sign up to get old, Sean.
I know.
I didn't do it. I didn't fucking do it. Says the 29-year-old to the 47-year-old.
Right. As my grandfather used to say to me, it beats the alternative. So,
what's the alternative? Death?
Being dead. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, at least you're going.
Yep.
The good Lord has blessed us with another day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in any good lords. We're here to talk about Monday Night Raw. Want to?
No, not really.
I don't either.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Let's talk about
what the hell did you and Fagan talk about for 2.5 hours? That shit took like a day and a half to download. I was like, what? First of all, I went in at like 10. I'm thinking, surely they're done now, so I can get it and put it on SoundCloud. Nope, still live. I'm like, what the
Well, right before we go live, he's like, so what's the format? I said, we're going to have a conversation. He's like, oh, all right. I'm like, you well, you brought him up already, but Joe Rogan. I said, I've been watching his, and it's kind of a cool. He doesn't even introduce them. Like he doesn't say we're here with this person, they're from here. Like they just start talking, and it's just they go wherever the hell they go. That's kind of what we do. And then I'm like, I'd like to do that with other people or whatever. And Mike is incredibly easy to talk to. He's a smart guy. So we just started going off on all sorts of shit, and he listens too well. And I fucking ramble, and I tend to be way too open. I said a lot of shit about myself that I'm even uncomfortable about, that I told people things about my life. But yeah, I don't know. We just talked, man. He brought up Benoit. At one point, he said he had compassion for pedophiles, shit like that. It got crazy. A little out there, yeah. But it was fun. So that's what we do. That's what we do now. We just talk and have conversations. And it's usually more interesting than whatever WWE's got going on. But this was a good show, right? I mean, everyone else seemed to think Raw was good this week.
Yeah, I missed a big chunk of it. I got home at 7:45, and the power was
what
out
happened
the house.
with that?
So I don't know. It was like apparently they're doing some work. It's fucking Baltimore. They're always doing something's broke. And so they were trying to fix a water main or something, and they hit the wrong line. Apparently, it went. My neighbor said the power went out. I got home at 7:45. My neighbor said the power went out about 6:30, and we got it back on. It was like 10. It was pretty much so.
Something's always the water main, and they clipped the wrong line.
Yep.
That happened. My landlord came out with some workers a while back, and he was digging up in the yard. And then suddenly my internet's off, and right after I notice, I hear a knock on the door, and I look out, and they're like, so there's a line under here, and we just completely sawed through it. So we'll try to get you back soon, but we don't know. I'm like, you realize I work online. You just made me unable to do my job. Like, well, sorry. There's a Starbucks down the road. Free Wi-Fi. All right. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. All right, well, fuck you to the city of Baltimore for fucking with Sean's World. Do you live in actual Baltimore? Like that's your.
Yep.
So it's not like a Chicago situation, like Mike and I were talking about, where I'm from Chicago, but you're not actually in the city.
I mean, Baltimore has some suburbs. I mean, Baltimore is weird because Baltimore is itself sort of like Washington D.C.'s little brother. So because D.C. is less than an hour away, Philly's like an hour and a half away. So Baltimore already has this like stepchild syndrome, but. So there are people who live in the suburbs of Baltimore and who will say, I live in Baltimore. There's also a Baltimore County that's separate from the city, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we live in the city.
So your address actually would say Baltimore.
Yes.
Not to say your address on
the we're in Baltimore, Maryland. We're not in Towson, Maryland or anything like that. Yeah.
Is it like big city? Like, I mean, you're you're like a downtown kind of thing where you're right next to a bunch of shit, or just a neighborhood?
I mean, we're walking distance from a neighborhood called Fells Point, which is like a big, waterfront touristy place. We could walk to downtown. It's like a 20-minute walk, but we can see downtown from our house.
But it's like a neighborhood, houses and shit, or apartment buildings.
We live we're in a city neighborhood. Yeah.
Right on. Cool, man. Mm-hmm. I live right next to a trailer park.
Nice.
Like it's called Cloverleaf. Like there's a speed bump with the sign right there. Going into it, and I'm the last house before you get to it, which is kind of cool for me because I grew up living in a trailer park. I spent 10 years of my childhood there, so it's like I'm right next to.
But not that trailer park, right?
No, this is a different one. This is in Moline. It's funny because I talk shit about people who do it to Chicago, but I used to do it growing up. I lived in Kelowna and said I was from the Quad Cities. That's bullshit. Kelowna's not the Quad Cities.
But everybody does that. I lived in North Texas for a while, which we're Dallas, and that's a place where you go 2 blocks and all of a sudden you're not in Dallas anymore. You're in fucking Highland Park. It's a different township or whatever. But everybody says Dallas, even people who live in fucking Fort Worth. It's like the whole thing. We got shit from people last WrestleMania where people
got really mad at us.
It's actually in Arlington. It's like, fuck you. Nobody knows. It's Dallas. Shut up.
I think I actually changed.
I lived in Arlington, but
yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like if you're in a certain, what's the biggest city close to you? Like some people even say Chicago area for where I'm at, and I'm literally 3 hours away from it.
Yeah.
Like it's all the way. If you look at it, Chicago is on the other side of the state, and it's like a straight shot to the other side right before you get to Iowa. That's where I am, which is So
Pittsburgh's a lot like that because nobody can name another city in Western Pennsylvania. It's like Philadelphia's over here and Pittsburgh's over here, so everybody who lives over here is Pittsburgh. It's like
I literally don't think I could name another city in Pennsylvania besides those two.
Yeah, there's Harrisburg's the state capital. Penn State's in Happy Valley / State College. Erie, it's named after the lake. Yeah. I mean, I could name a bunch, but those are like the big ones. But no, yeah, it's like.
I'm going to have to get you on Gabbing About Grappling so we can talk about your interesting ass life that you've led.
I'm not going to do that.
Traveling. You've just traveled a lot, and you've been to a lot of cities, and you fucking.
Well, right? I'm old, so yeah.
Fucking take a bunch of trips and shit for work, and. Yeah, I know you've had a. Well, I just want to talk about your many escapades. That's what I want to talk about.
See, but I'm not the open. You're the open book, though. I'm the I've done some stuff, and then I'll sort of change the subject because I'm uncomfortable.
Why am I like that, Sean? Because we get. I don't know. I said some shit with Mike on.
You said some shit with me where I'm like, I don't.
Why is he saying this?
It doesn't make me uncomfortable that you're telling me. It makes me uncomfortable that you're telling. I mean, even if it's only 2,000 people that listen to this or whatever, I'm still like, you don't know any of them, man.
It's easy to forget. Yeah, it's easy to forget. That's what I told Mike. I was like, it's easy to forget. I'm not just talking to you. Like I talked to Sean. That's like, I'm one of my best friends. Like it's just you're talking to your best friend. Like it's not a big deal. But it's like there are a lot of other people listening to this, and I'll never see them. I'll never know who they are or how they are or what they'll do with the information I give them. Yep. So, but it's I wouldn't be me if I wasn't open, and it has inspired some people too. Trina,
it is. I mean, it's good. I worry. I'm a worrier. That's why my friends call me Whiskers. It's like every once in a while, like Nate or like SB Nation will send us stuff, and they're like, oh, by the way, go to this site so you don't get fucking doxxed. And it's like, well,
you don't need to dox
me.
You
don't even have to work that hard. You just have to sit through some YouTube and you can find out whatever you want.
I doxed myself, fam. Like it's already. I appreciate that you worry, but at the same time, too, like Trina helped me out with that, where she was like, she listened to one of our shows and it like led her on the path of what she's doing because she's like, I can't believe how fucking open this guy's being. Like he's talking about his feelings. Like he's just like out there. He doesn't care. Well, I'm just bad at it. I need someone to reel me in is what I really need.
I mean, I hope and pray you never get burned by it because it does help a lot of people. And I know, part of my story is I've dealt with addiction issues, and the whole basis for that is that you got to be honest about that stuff and get it out there to somebody. So I definitely see the power in being able to relate and having somebody that you can look up to and identify with. I just don't always know that if I want that to be the internet.
Well, that's my thing too, is like I ran into some trouble with like that kind of lifestyle choice of like, the slippery slope of being dishonest to people.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just had to swing the pendulum that much harder in the other direction. So it's like, if you're going to be honest, you need to just be brutally with everybody all the time. And then that's got its drawbacks.
Yep.
That's the Gino Morosco story. In constant search of balance that I cannot find.
I think that's everybody's story, but yeah, you're
true.
You are everybody with the volume turned up to 11, my friend. That's why we love you.
I am a contradiction I mean everything I say, but I will contradict myself in the same sentence somehow. That's me. All right. We can finally talk about Raw, I guess. There's some stuff that was good about this show. There's some stuff that was kind of baffling about the show. Some stuff that was really awesome about this show. Let's start with Bayley.
All right.
Because Jason wrote about it.
Damn it. Yeah, I thought Jason pretty much...
He
hit a lot of my feeling. Not exactly, but a lot of... Yeah, I think there were other ways they could have even saved this. I just sat there. I think this is the first thing I got the power back on for, which was sort of a rude awakening.
Huh.
Shout out to Mark Normandin. Of all the ways they could have gone,
here's my question.
This was the dumbest.
Here's my question. Why do you book the segment if she's not actually going to relinquish the title?
Because Stephanie McMahon likes to talk a lot. This was one I've been somebody who has defended the crap. I think even on this show last week, I said I kind of like Raw's women's division more than SmackDown. She was like, "Fuck you." Yeah. And I've also been somebody who, while I'm not Stephanie's biggest fan, I've always been like, she doesn't do that much harm. This flipped me on both of those things because because even Steph and Jason did hit this in his piece. Stephanie's thing would have been okay if it had been about 5 minutes shorter. She talked forever, saying the same thing slowly.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was no need for it.
Here's the problem. She was right.
Well, kind of. I mean,
if Bayley's going to be the character that we think of her as, how can she possibly keep that title? And they
I'll tell you how, because Bayley is somebody who has watched pro wrestling all of her life, so she knows how this stuff works. And B, it's not like Sasha came out of nowhere. Sasha came out after Dana Brooke interfered. So so Bayley could very much say, you know what, you're right, Steph. But because I'm not a total moron, I'm not giving you this belt, but I will do a rematch where if anybody interferes, I'll lose the title. She could do something like that, stack the deck against her if you're going to go this way. To just stand there and not even have a response, she looked like fucking Eugene. I mean, this was horrible. I mean, this was not like innocent Bayley. This was stupid Bayley.
It was like she was considering it. Like, maybe I should because, whatever. And you're right. If you're going to go that route, I think you have to have her call attention to that. Like, Sasha didn't help me. Sasha evened the odds.
Yeah. Or if she did help me, Charlotte
tried to cheat
at all. Yeah,
Charlotte tried to cheat, and Sasha made sure that we got back to a level playing field, even though the way it was booked was she hit her to get her out of the figure eight, and then Bayley went right into the finish, the Bayley to belly, and then so it feels a little off.
Yeah.
Even to Bayley fans.
Yeah, and you can address that without just having her look like she's going to cry.
Yeah, get browbeat and I get but again, even then, it's like Stephanie seems kind of right. Like, if you're who you always say you are, how could you keep that? And she was on commentary straight up telling lies. Like, Bayley was on commentary going, I didn't win because of Sasha. I won because, I've beat her 3 times already, and that's just, I can beat her, and I'm that whatever the hell it was she said. And it's like, that's not true. You did win because of Sasha. That is a function of what that doesn't necessarily mean it's unfair. Because of the Dana stuff, it means in a way it's not unfair. But to say you didn't win because of her is patently false. That is incorrect.
I get what they're trying to do there. I mean, the other thing that really annoys me about this, even without like picking it apart to that level, is it's become so abundantly clear that they just want to do this Fatal 4-Way at Mania, and they're going to do it no matter what. Mm-hmm. So let's just do it. Just make that match now. Let's just save everybody a lot of time. I know that goes against my whole, like, the story never ends and we got to, like, give them a chance to tell whatever they're going to tell. But God, this is just not interesting to me.
It also retroactively makes the people who had a problem with the title change. Yep. You guys are all, this is where I say you were right and I was wrong, because I don't think I was wrong to enjoy it for what it was, but you were right to jump faster to the critical response of, oh, here we go. Yep. Because the very next segment was a dumpster fire of just, I just don't think you book it unless she is going to relinquish the title. And I think that's actually an interesting angle to it. What you could do if you're Stephanie, if you weren't, trying to play the heel, or in that case, kind of she was like working, not like she was being just shitty for the sake of being shitty. Like, it's so weird how they do that sometimes too.
Yeah,
Triple H does it all the time. It's like, come on, be consistent. That's all we really ask for is consistency, and this didn't feel very consistent. Even to have Bayley ultimately be like, hell no, like try to, I don't know, get support for, I'm not giving this up because I earned it and all that. It's like, well, yeah, but. And you don't want it to be a yeah, but. You want it to be a triumphant, wonderful thing, like it was in Brooklyn. I mean, that's the whole. But that goes back to, again, they were right, because you should have fucking saved that. Her first title win was on a Raw that didn't matter, and then it's controversy. Like, that's Sting. That's Sting finally taking the title from fucking Hogan, and it's controversy. He had to. They upheld the belt. Like, this is, and then later they did the big finish where he got to keep it at, what was it, Super Brawl or something like that. And even then it was because Savage helped him out, and then went right into he doesn't matter, and it's Wolfpack versus Hollywood Black and White. Same kind of thing. We know it's not about Bayley and propping her up. It's more about making sure Sasha's still involved so she can get in where she needs to get in. And now Nia's demanding a title shot, so she's probably going to get in some way. Yep. It just doesn't feel like the natural progression of this person's story because she's the star. Like, maybe they don't think she is that star, and maybe this shows that. I don't know, but it doesn't feel good anymore.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they know who. I mean, because the other thing that, I mean, I hated everything about this. And I have a hard time even articulating it. It's just I just sat there just going, I don't like any
It was
of
bad.
I don't
was
want
bad.
It's not.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this is the second time I felt like maybe they're setting up Sasha versus Stephanie, which that flies in the face of all those rumors we read for all through 2016 about how they don't think Sasha's the person because they're not gonna. I mean, right? I don't know.
And not even that they have to have a person necessarily, but wasn't the idea of WrestleMania like that's the culmination of many, many things, and then it's a new world after WrestleMania, and you build and go into the new world that you're in now. And with this, it doesn't feel that way. It legitimately feels like we're just another Charlotte, another way to get the belt back to Charlotte. I mean, at the rate they're at, she's going to break her dad's record by the end of the year.
Yep.
And which would be fine. I don't care because it doesn't matter. But it's just, yeah, it really does take away from things in a big bad way.
I think that's always been the idea of WrestleMania, that it's sort of the reset. I mean, that's why that's how I sort of, when I set up our little fan poll thing gimmick, I set that up as like seasons from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, but I don't know if it's actually been that way in a long time. It just sort of rolls on and you get rematches right afterwards. And I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I guess it still does, but in general, I don't feel that's as hard a reset as we want it to be.
Well, and they didn't put the title on Austin after he won the Rumble before the very next pay-per-view, before Mania.
Yeah.
And then have weird booking and then go to Mania and have it be a multi-person. Yep. That's not how you do this. You guys know how you do this when you want to build an actually compelling feud between two people. And that's the other problem. That's the thing. That's the thing I think I hate the most about how they book the women's division, particularly on Raw, is they don't seem to know how to just do one person versus one person. Yeah, like they have to get everybody involved in it. I don't need to see Dana Brooke running out, and I'm going to do a GIF post on this. She might be the birth of a new weekly feature, the Monday Night Raw moment of the week. Dana Brooke rush into the ring as the least motivated human being I've ever seen in my life. Just the slow, not even a jog, just like a brisk walk to the ring before Bayley fucking knocked her over. But like, I don't need to see Dana Brooke involved in stuff. She doesn't really have a place there anyway. I don't think they ever explained her coming back to help Charlotte after Charlotte was like.
They didn't. All of a sudden, she's what do they call her? Her protege. All of a sudden, after all that, after they.
They were building like they were going to do that match, and they changed their minds. And
because there were all those rumors that Dana was the person they saw as the big star, right? Remember those rumors?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Vince saw her, and
she lifts weights. She's my star. Oh wait, she can't wrestle or talk.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually. And then
I can't push that.
He hung out with her for a week and was like, "This woman is. I can't deal with her. Send her back to Dolph." I'm not done with it. And then she just kind of disappeared and shows up whenever she wants to. It's just gonna be okay. It's got to also be Sasha and Charlotte and Bayley, and now Nia's in this, and then you just completely forget about everyone else who's even on the fucking brand. Alicia is in the cruiserweight stuff, and who even knows where the hell that's going? And sometimes she didn't even show up at all because they don't know how to book the cruiserweights either. And I guess was there, but I mean, I saw some.
We don't know if she's cleared or anything, though, right? I mean,
yeah, she's maybe still hurt. Maybe not. We get no up.
Well, here's the thing: I missed 2 hours of the show, right? But so if anybody was worried if Emma was going to be buried for not being able to do the cat, she wasn't even on the show, right?
Wasn't even mentioned, and I completely forgot that she did the Emelina thing a week ago. So that tells you how much that mattered at all.
So she's dead. She's done.
Yeah, I mean, I
hope not. But.
A burial would be, I mean, we bring up the definition of it, I guess, is like a assassination of a character. And I think you can qualify just completely not even letting her be on TV as a burial.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's worse than a burial, right? It's like you couldn't do this, so now, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, that's not going to be good.
I mean, we don't know the whole story, but at the same, we kind of do, I guess, because I mean, you know, the reports are that she just wasn't. The report said they didn't feel she was committed enough. That is a shot.
Yeah.
That is someone leaking a story. That is that's NFL style, you know, we'll say person has character.
Locker room poison or whatever.
Yeah. We'll do that kind of shit. So this, let's get that out there to a top reporter that people trust. No big surprise that it was Ryan Satin at Wrestling Sheet with his strategy of only fact check stuff, whatever. And then that sounded, you'll notice, way different than the usual reports he'll put out. That sounded like, well, it's been said. Like you'll see that kind of stuff a lot. It's being said, shit like that. So to come out and say, well, she just wasn't motivated enough, or they didn't feel she was committed enough to the character. I mean, that I don't know. Again, it's speculation on my part, but that sure feels like they're sending a message.
Yeah, exactly. It is speculation, but I think that's widely held. I mean, when you brought that into the orifices last week, we were all like, oh shit.
Yep.
So it's not like anybody's reading like a specific read. I mean, that's what that means to anybody who pays attention, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then we don't even see her at all this week. And then, I mean, you look at SmackDown, dude, and that's why it's when you said, I think Raw's division's better. I said, man, I don't know. Because SmackDown, they actually do a pretty good job with, look, I'm over the Nikki Bella and Natalya stuff. But just because I'm over it doesn't mean they're not doing it right. They are absolutely doing it right.
And people are saying they're over it, and it's going to end tonight. I believe that. Like, I don't think that they're going to have this, whatever it is, a Falls Count Anywhere match tonight, and then next week go, just kidding, we're going to keep doing it. I think they'll end it. Like when they ended Carmella and Nikki. They didn't drag it on for another 17 weeks.
And before they ended Carmella and Nikki, they transitioned appropriately to Natalya in a way that made sense within that story. Although that story was kind of a little flimsy, but at least they ran with it and they built it up proper to the point where, they're going at each other all the time and they can't seem to keep it in the ring. So Brian's like, well, fuck it then. We'll just do a Falls Count Anywhere match. You don't have to keep it in the ring. Just kill each other. That makes sense.
We've talked about this before. When SmackDown does a stip, there's a reason for it. The story dictates it. It's not Hell in a Cell now. Why? Because.
Yeah, that's the kind of unnamed thing or thing that you don't sort of bring up that why is SmackDown better than Raw? You wouldn't say, well, because they did a Falls Count Anywhere match that made sense. But it is absolutely the kind of thing that you notice without even realizing you're noticing it, that gives you a great satisfaction within the story you're reading. Like if you're reading a book and the story's just super disjointed and nothing makes sense and characters are popping in out of nowhere and going away for no reason, and it's, you know what I mean, there's no logical conclusion to anything. It doesn't build to a big moment and then kind of come back down before you get done with the book. You should go, this sucks. But if it does, even if the story's not the greatest thing in the world, you'll still have a sort of satisfaction with it because it just made sense. Like you understood it on a certain level. That's what SmackDown does. I'm not particularly enthralled by this angle. I don't think they're not very good promos. Some of the stuff they've said, some of the stuff they've done, like the sit down interview that they did where they were side by side. And Natty was like, you can't handle the truth. She kept saying that. You can't handle the truth. I mean, this is cheesy and stupid.
Yeah. Natty's on the mic.
Natty's kind of a horrible wrestling character overall.
Yep.
And she can wrestle, and that's great. But I'm just kind of
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think she's overrated as a wrestler. She's a good wrestler, but she's not as great as we all thought she was. Like when she was working with AJ Lee. All the time or something, and she's painfully awkward without like a good reason for it. Like I'll defend, like Bayley's promo last night was not great, but I still think that that's part of the gimmick.
She was horrific on commentary.
It works okay with the gimmick for me and for a lot of people. I think
sure, yeah. I don't mind that.
There are some people who really hate it and they think it hurts, or there are others that don't. But I think you'd have a hard time finding anybody who says like, oh yeah, I just love Natalya's delivery. It's just great. I could listen to it for hours. I mean,
and the vocal fry,
yeah.
And for anyone who may not know what I mean when I say that, the Kardashian thing, at the end of her stuff or while she's talking, it's like a whole thing. It's called vocal fry. I don't like it, and she does it all the time. Whatever. Either way, right? Like it's the story that made sense. They built it up. She said some shit that Nikki didn't like. She kept trying to take away from her accomplishments, but bringing up her boyfriend. Even took some shots. Like if I wasn't married, he'd probably be with me.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki's like, fuck this. I'm so tired of this fucking chick, like whatever. And they fought in a way that made sense, and they built up through the matches that made sense. I think didn't they do a no DQ at one point or something like that because they were going after each other. And then, like I said, Daniel's like, you can't even keep it in the ring. Fine, we'll do a Falls Count Anywhere. And it feels like this is the end, and it'll be over, and we'll move on to something new. And maybe The cool thing too is they did do the spot where the makeup went flying into
Maurice.
I gotta write that down or some shit. Maurice. They did the spot with Maurice so that they can go back to that, and it's not just a weird. There's too much out on Raw, and sometimes on SmackDown. I guess you could probably find a spot that happened, but where they just do a match for no reason seemingly, and then suddenly those two are feuding. Like, all right, I guess that works, I suppose. But I like it much better like this. Like Maurice probably show up and be like, "Look, bitch," and they could be like, "Fuck's your problem." And then they'll run the video and be like, "I couldn't accompany my man to his Elimination Chamber match, and he ended up losing. So you cost us a fucking title. And oh, look, who's the guy who pinned him because I wasn't there to support him? Oh, it was your fucking boyfriend. Natty was right." Like, oh my God, with this shit, Nikki can get really pissed. And then they can culminate that with fucking Cena proposing to her. That all works so fucking well at Mania. Oh my God. I would get on the SmackDown and ride their dick train if that's what they did, because that would be a really good long thing that spanned multiple opponents. That's good shit.
Yep. And culminated at the right time, right? It wouldn't be
exactly, yeah.
It's not Cena proposing on a SmackDown in the middle of March while we wait for an answer later.
Holy shit! And the word is Cena's leaving to go do some filming stuff, and Nikki's leaving to take time off for her injury. Honeymoon. This is too perfect.
Well, you can't. You gotta get married first, and then unless they get married in the ring,
Sean.
Because they're going to have to film the wedding for Total Divas. That's going to be a whole fucking season, the wedding planning. They're not going on the honeymoon in fucking May of this year. I just want to set the stage for you.
You don't decide when people go on honeymoons.
It's typically after they get married, though.
They'll do it after the proposal. They're an unorthodox couple.
They can do whatever they want. You're right.
That's right. They're an unorthodox couple as it is. So yeah, SmackDown's great for all that stuff. That is too perfect. I really hope that happens. And Maurice and Miz just celebrated an anniversary. They can bring that up with their little Instagram photos. They're such a cute couple. I like them. I do.
Good deal. So yeah, anyway, the whole the notion that the Raw Women's title is gonna, that nobody's gonna have a fucking WrestleMania moment out of a 4-way anyway. That's not.
Plus,
yeah,
this is the drawback to doing so many title changes. I don't care about your belt. If you decided the Super Bowl every other fucking week, you know how long it'd take before no one cared about the Super Bowl?
True, I guess. Yeah.
Not long. It's a culmination. You got to work hard to get that fucking thing. You got to go through hell. And then you finally get there. And then it's like, this means something, dude. We fought for this. We bled and broke bones for this. This is everything. And we have one chance right now. If we lose today, we're fucked. We got to start the journey all over again. We better fucking bring it today. And so you win, and it's deeply satisfying because you can look back and go, man, what a journey it was. It feels so good because of that journey. Every other fucking week's not a journey. You didn't do anything. And then plus you had, the Patriots didn't have fucking injured Rob Gronkowski just grab a fucking helmet and run on the field and help him win the game. You know what I mean? They didn't have Mike Tomlin on the sideline tripping people.
Do you?
You know what I mean? I love you so much, Sean.
Here's the thing about that, too. Everybody fucking forgets. We didn't even win that game, so.
Oh, that's great. But you know what I mean, right? So, and I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm with the people who are like, why on a Raw? Bayley's supposed to fuck her at Mania. What are you doing? And it's in Orlando, where she's so beloved because of NXT. That's the home base, dude. She's gonna be fucking over. The crowd is going to shower her with just the most adoration any wrestler's ever received, fucking anywhere. Maybe other than the night that Austin came out to help Foley win the belt on Raw, the reaction that the glass hit got, it's gonna be like that, dude. They're going to love that woman.
I don't know if it's going to be all that, but I hope so. But it's Mania, so it's not like that's going to be like 70,000 people who watched NXT. It's going to be people from fucking Europe and all over the globe.
Those are the people who are hardcore.
I think unless they're all like turned off by the fact that they fucked this story up.
I was just going to say that. Yep. I said, actually, maybe they won't, because now they're all sitting here going, this is stupid as fuck.
Yep. I think people will still cheer because it's fun to cheer with your friends and it's mania. But if that's what was so frustrating about this segment, and that's where Jason again hit the nail on the head for the most part. There's some other things I might have nitpicked, but in general, they just had a variety of choices that were, some were a little better than others, but a lot of good choices. Interesting ways they could have taken the story, and they went with the dumb way that didn't help anybody. Everybody looks like it. Everybody except for, I guess, Charlotte looks like an idiot. Yeah. But even Charlotte kind of doesn't look great. She looks the same as she doesn't come out of it looking any better than she did coming into it.
Yeah, and somehow it ends up Sasha versus Charlotte, which I don't know how that makes any sense at all to do that. It's just they just do things.
It's a fresh matchup we haven't seen before. We also got KO versus Sammy on this show, so thank God they settled that feud at Battleground last year.
Sammy, who is exactly how they should book a babyface.
Mm-hmm. He's the only baby.
Like Bailey.
He's the only babyface on the roster, really.
Yeah. And, I like the Raw Abridged fan post that said he got his ass whooped by Joe and then fought anyway because he's an idiot.
Yep.
That's true, but at least he's valiant.
And it's consistent. He always does that.
This is what he does. I will not fucking give up because this bad shit just happened to me. And I will not say this man's name because I might get my ass whooped for it. I will stand up for what I believe in. That's Sami Zayn, man. It's good shit. And you beat him down and you feel bad for the guy because he's good, and it's just it's also situations that are just unfair enough that it's like, if he had a real shot at this, you can kind of buy that. That's a tough line to toe, but they managed to do a good job of it with him. I think maybe because they don't focus too much on it, then they'd fuck it up. Maybe that's their whole thing, is they can't analyze something too much, or else they'll just fuck it up because they're not that smart.
I think that's true about a lot of things too, though. Is you want to sort of let them. I mean, you don't want it to be completely unplanned, but you do want to let things happen organically. And because they don't see Sammy as, the next big thing, he gets a little bit more wiggle room in how the story gets told, I guess, maybe. Whereas Bailey they think she's the fucking female Daniel Bryan, and they want to.
Do they think that?
I don't know.
Because is this how that would go if that was the case? This felt so fly in the face of the authority kind of thing, but not in the Daniel Bryan way, but more in the...
Well, here's what I was going to say. You alluded to this, right? I mean, they do this all the time. Like, they could, and I don't want everything to be fucking paint by numbers for me and boring, but instead of just out of the blue, Stephanie is all of a sudden doing like fucking mustache twirling villainy, like set it up, like explain that this time. I mean, because this is what it came across as. Like, she wanted to not just, because she has the authority to take the belt from her, but she didn't want to do that. She wanted to break her. But we don't have any frame, like, why? We don't know why. All of a sudden you hate Bailey? Why?
And also, like, you'll notice that another thing SmackDown doesn't do is wrestler versus authority figure on the show. That's all Raw does.
Well, they tease one and they'll never deliver it. But other than that,
you cannot.
And they may be about to do AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. But other than that, yeah.
I regret having said that.
Well, you're right, though. Raw does it all the time.
It's all Raw does.
SmackDown has a couple of instances of it. Yeah.
And it's not even like they're building to a match so much with Miz and Bryan, as it's like they have actual history and a rivalry throughout their shit, and they just continue sniping at each other.
Yep.
And Bryan kind of fucks with them a little bit, but never too much. Like, it's not in a I'm going to hold you down kind of way. Like, it's not like that.
It's just I'm going to fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you a little bit for sure because you're a little douche, and we all agree with that.
And you won't stop running your mouth at me. Yeah.
So, and you steal my shit.
What I can do. Yep.
And test my patience, and fine, I'll fuck with you a little bit. It's all good, but it's never within the framework of what this stuff is. Which, like you said, it's now Bailey is champion. Now suddenly Steph's got a problem with her.
Yep.
Why? This makes no fucking sense. Come on, don't do that. Everything has to be about Triple. And here's what's funny about that. We're going to complain about this, but as soon as they did, Kevin Owens in his opening promo said, I just know how to play the game. And I thought, fuck. They're going to do it. They're going to do Joe and KO with Triple H. Stable. Put that on Twitter. Not a single person said no. Everyone was like, oh, I'm all in for that. That's going to be dope. I'm like, you fuckers. Do you not see what's happening to you? I would shake Triple H's hand and go, sir, you're good at this. You are a fucking politician, dude. Mm-hmm. Like you have made all these people who hated you believe that you're like the Messiah. You're the same fucking little cunty fuck you've always been. How the fuck have you done this? And he'd just smile and laugh, and then I would get hit from behind by Joe,
Yep.
And a shovel would be out of nowhere. Like that's just he's so good at it. I was like, I don't want it because it's like it's the same thing. They don't know how to run a single angle that involves a main event level guy without that person having to come across Stephanie. And she's got 8 stories going at one time.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
of these people can't even get one.
Nope.
She's just everywhere on everything. So she's mad at Mick, and Foley's sticking up for himself. I'm not going to let you make me look stupid. Mick, you do a pretty good job of it yourself.
I actually liked the Foley scene last week, but the problem is it's building off of a story that they forgot 6 months ago. Like, if you would have told this story straight through, all of a sudden last night they finally bring up that you lied to my face when I asked you about, if you knew this stuff with Triple H. And so I guess the way they're going to get rid of Foley. Joe's going to beat up Foley, and that's how he's going to go have hip surgery.
God, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
in fairness, Foley probably just remembered. In fairness, I mean, he is a little.
I don't think it's Mick's fault. I think it's creative. But
no, it's not.
I know.
It's bad writing and bad. Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense.
This is the Triple H problem: is that neither he or Stephanie really want to be a heel. They want to be able to get like real heat in one segment, but then they kind of want to be cool and liked in the next one, which is. And I don't know how Triple H keeps pulling it off, but he's doing it.
They're too fucking narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to act like they have narcissistic personality disorder because we're talking about just a show, but at the same time they're the ones in power, and it sure fucking comes across like they want to be looked at. They want all things at all times. They have to be the center of attention always. They have to be the ones who get the credit. They have to be the ones who are all important, and everyone understands this. And Triple H is the best at it. Stephanie tries to do it and just isn't that good. And yeah, it's really hurting the overall product because we need more heels that we can actually hate.
Yep.
Like The Miz. Like, I don't want to like the heels. It's not cool to be a cool heel. And I don't know if it's because of the age I was at, but I remember thinking the NWO was cool, but I still hated him. Like, I still really wanted him to lose. I was still all aboard the Sting train. Like, he was still the guy. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess they did have the cool, and the merchandise sold like crazy. I don't know, though, because they were totally on that line. I mean, there was a ton of NWO stuff. They were getting cheers, one more for the bad guys. You here to see the WCW, the NWO.
I mean, I watched the clip of DDP turning him down yesterday with his Hall of Fame nomination, and when he took the NWO shirt and put it on, it was huge pop. Yeah.
And then when he refused it, another big pop.
Yeah, exactly. So they were ready. They were
this is the thing that's been
loved wrestling then, I guess.
Yeah. This is a thing that's been going on where it was like they appreciated it, and then they they went with the story while also appreciating what they appreciated.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting time, I guess. That would have been, I don't know. Maybe things aren't as different as we like to act like they are. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess me personally, I would just rather have heels that I can hate. And I don't want that heel to be the people in power. I'm tired of that shit.
You need some of them. And like, I don't feel like there's very, like you said, there's Miz, and
I think Bray Wyatt's supposed to be a heel right now.
I think he is too, but he's not, and he never has.
He's not.
They've never done a good job of making us really want to hate him.
Yeah, and they have guys. What sucks too is they have guys that we would all be pretty fucking happy to hate, and they won't let us, like Roman Reigns. Yeah. I badly want to hate that man, and I badly want them to let me. I want them to step on it. Like, I want them to drive it up a notch. That's why I want the heel turn, because then he'll be even more of a shithead, and it'll feel even better to hate him. Whereas right now, it's like it's a little hipstery. It's a little like I'm trying to go against the machine, and I don't know.
I mean, why? I mean, we're supposed to hate Braun Strowman. Why?
Yeah, I love Braun Strowman.
I mean, he beat up Sam. I mean, to their credit, they had him beat up Sammy, so that's a dickheaded thing to do. But other than that,
otherwise, like he's a big monster who kills people. Like, okay, I guess I can see that being a bad thing, but at the same time, like, you can't hate a guy for doing his fucking job. That's the gig, and all he ever did was want more competition. Foley, I need better wrestlers to compete against. He's just said it in a mean way and looked like a big baby who was killing people. Where's the hate? Like, that's the other thing. They're not telling stories that make me hate a guy. Like, I love Daniel Bryan. Always have. Miz is being a shithead to Daniel Bryan, knowing Daniel Bryan can't do a fucking thing about it. That's a really good reason to hate The Miz.
Mhm.
Where's that with Braun Strowman? It's not there. Even in the Sammy thing, I need competition. That's his whole thing. Is he just wants better competition?
And,
Why is that a hateable thing?
WWE gave him a reason to want to keep beating up Sammy because they said his surviving for 10 minutes was a win.
Yeah.
Which never made any kind of sense. But yeah.
They're not very good at this writing wrestling. The Kevin Owens promo was really good in the opening segment.
And we keep coming back, so we don't really give them any reason to get better. So not to be to be that guy, but it's true.
We get paid on it though. At least we're lining our pockets. You fuckers who aren't getting paid are silly. But please keep coming back here. I didn't mean that. You're not silly. You're lovely. You're attractive. You're very smart and fun. What are you picking off your face, sir?
I don't know. I got something on my face. I don't like it. Some sort of scab thing, I guess. I don't know.
You look cute as hell, though.
I shaved, so I think I must have nicked myself.
It didn't look like you shaved. It looked like the same beard you always have.
No, I mean I shaved. I don't like having fucking neck hair. I don't.
How big would you don't the banker, right? The old time banker look. You know, how big would the beard get if you didn't shave it? Like, would you?
I don't know. Bushy? I'm not allowed to do that. So
you're not allowed.
No.
Okay, so you say that, and I just noticed you look like you have what appears to be a bruise above your right eyebrow.
I don't think I have a bruise above. No,
that's your left. He starts rubbing his left eyebrow. Sir, that's not the right one. It looks like a
I think that was it. I don't know. I don't know my left from my right. I have to do this thing still at 40 years old. Yeah, I'm bad at that. I don't know.
It's funny because the way I'm looking at you, I oriented myself like I was you and still managed to pull it off right on. But so you're not allowed to grow your beard out. Does your wife beat you, Sean?
No.
Severely, she does.
No.
She just kicks the shit out of you, doesn't she?
She would if she could get away with it, but she doesn't.
After
she knows
the many years you've been together,
I'll scream and call the cops, so she doesn't do it. No,
the many years you've been together, I imagine it can get that way.
No, like, she doesn't. She doesn't. She's not crazy about the beard, actually. But I won that argument. But no, there will be no Braun Strowmaning going on here. That would not.
But would it happen if you just let it go?
I don't know. I've honestly never done it, so I don't know. Probably not. I don't have like. I mean, it's actually pretty thin, so I don't think it would. I don't know. I've never tried though, so
I'm unfortunate as people can see in the rendered photo there. Like, there's not much beard there. It's just my brother though, Daniel Bryan. I mean, it's thick and just it just goes the fuck out there. Like, man, I don't know how you got that. I got this fucking pube beard. But yeah, that's what it is. But so no, the KO promo was pretty good. Did you go back and watch that?
Yeah, I watched it on the YouTube.
I really liked that the focus went totally to Goldberg because that's the fucking match they're building towards, right? And also away from Jericho because that'll make it better when he does come back.
Yep.
And also it's pretty baller in one sense, but infuriating in another sense because he did say, "Oh, and about Chris Jericho," and then just dropped the mic.
Yep.
You fucker. That's the only reason I was listening to you ramble on about Goldberg, you piece of shit.
Well, and that's why. I mean, that's healing 101. He didn't give us what we wanted, so
exactly. And then, it did a good job too, man, because he's in there in the ring and he's sitting there, and they cut to him and they're doing this close up on his face, and I was just like, I can't even look at this fucking guy. I'm so mad at him still.
Mm-hmm.
You just go with it, man. You just got to go with that shit. Oh, what'd you think of the Lesnar thing? I got to hear your thoughts on what they did with that.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was a pretty good Heyman promo. I didn't love it as much as you did.
I did. Why do you think I loved it that much? I didn't.
I saw. Weren't you freaking out on Twitter about how you were
freaking out? I said it was awesome.
Well, I mean, I sort of. I don't know. I didn't mean anything by it. I'm not saying you're bad.
No, I'm just.
I thought there was something about like I'm aroused through shit. I'm
aroused.
Kidding myself, but I'm aroused or something.
I said, why am I laughing through my pants shitting terror?
Yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have that reaction. That's all.
What was your reaction?
I thought it was okay. I mean, yeah, that's all.
I felt different. Like, first of all,
I wish he would have kept his head still. The whole like the bobbing and weaving, like this side. I like that they're trying to do like I guess that's it. The big positive is I like that they're trying to do something different. I think in general we've seen some signs of them like trying to make Raw look different the last few weeks, which is cool. It's better than the same fucking Kevin Dunn produced product that we've gotten for 20 years now.
Yeah,
so
Mike
that's
Fagan
good.
Pointed that one out. Yeah, that they're doing close-ups now, which is cool.
But other than that, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was. I feel like this angle has re-energized Heyman a bit away from just the same old, same old. So I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, first of all, I've been waiting for a long time for someone to finally kill Cole in these settings. And I thought maybe this was going to be the time he'd get like actually thrown around. Sadly, they didn't do that. It was just Lesnar taking his chair. But it's funny because I hadn't really understood what I didn't like about it until you just said it. He moved his head too much. Because then it looked like it was a photo shoot.
Yeah, it made it feel a little bit goofy instead of like if he had if they had figured out how either to block Heyman so it looked like the voice was coming out of Brock's face, or so that Heyman's over his shoulder. Either one of those, keep that setting and it looks cool.
You know what they should have done? You've seen Clerks 2?
Yes.
The on the roof, what's it, Dante, I think his name is, and Rosario Dawson's character.
Yep.
The 360 where the camera goes around them.
Yeah.
The whole time. That shot, and it's just a continuous. I don't know if that would have worked here because you would have seen the back of his head for some portions of it, so maybe not. But something like that, right, where he's still and shit's moving around him, But yeah, him moving his head so much just kind of made it like he was trying to get the right angle and couldn't find it. Whereas I think it's far more effective if he just adopts. Now, he's got a sort of, no disrespect to Brock, if you ever heard this, a weird-looking face. And at the end there, he kind of blew it when he opened his mouth and you could see his crooked front tooth.
Yeah.
Which is kind of intimidating in its own way. Like, he gives so little shit about anything. He won't even fix his teeth. He'll just beat you to death if you say something about it. But, to me, it would have worked better to just adopt one tough look, one badass, even not even bad, you could just say a cold, calculated kind of stare. Just a dead-eyed look. Like, I am dead inside because of what has happened, and I'm going to murder you to try to bring me back to life. That's kind of terrifying. Like, the only way that I can live again is to kill you. And to just get into camera, uncomfortably close to it, and just adopt that dead-eyed stare while Heyman's talking, and to never move even once, you'd be uncomfortable by the end of that. But instead, it was like he kept moving around, repositioning himself, and it was kind of, yeah, you're right. You're dead on with that. He shouldn't have done that. It just made it feel kind of tacky and weird.
Yeah.
So, but it was also kind of funny too. Like I'm like I couldn't help but laugh, and I shouldn't be laughing right.
Well, that's I feel like they were going for menacing, and they got menacing with a little bit of like cheese instead. Which maybe they were going for that. I don't know. It wasn't the impression I got though.
Another problem they have is they get stuck on these like theme songs that they get for the show. What was that song?
I don't know. Something's going on. I was looking up there. I don't know what exactly. Maybe my power is about to go out again. I don't know. There's some sort of construction noise going on in my neighborhood.
No, but another problem they have, they get too attached to these fucking theme songs that they get for Mania. I get that you want to do the thing where you hear that song and so you naturally just think of WrestleMania. I understand that. But if you're putting up a photo that is a graphic advertising a match between two big badass motherfuckers who are going to kill each other, I don't want to hear in the background,
WrestleMania is why do they always have to be this party song? Why can't it be, why can't, get me some fucking Creed? Let's go back and
Creed, Sean?
I don't know. But that was bad. I mean, as much as I hate Creed, it was
my sacrifice.
It was more fitting for like this, for monsters about to kill each other kind of a thing.
Yeah, or even like the Ain't No Grave, Johnny Cash, the shit they play for Taker.
Yep. Yeah. The Taker angles never got the fucking Flo Rida song played over.
Yeah, they got like Memory Remains.
He got his own song, and that's what Goldberg Lesnar. If you want it to not feel like a joke, that's what you need to do. You need to not play whatever this dance party USA is.
Yeah, that fucking song from The Punisher. Yeah. Your days are numbered. Count them one by one. Like that shit's cool. It's dope. It's like it's an interesting, fun. I don't want to hear about Pitbull in fucking Florida. Give me the green light. I'm ready to go. I've been trolling my lady friend with that. Like, honey, I need you to can you do one thing for me? Like what? Give me the green light. Start doing it to Julie, dude.
She won't even know what I'm talking about, and then she will just fucking kick me in the nuts. It won't.
He's just like, Sean, can you get the trash out? Like, honey, I can't. Why? Because I need you to do something first. What? Give me the green light. I'm ready to go. And we're like, what happened to Sean? Julie killed him.
No, he's dead. He dead.
Yeah, he dead. Julie dead. Just like Gino did. I'm telling people about the shit I do in the cage shed orifices, okay? You're making it weird. For other people, not me.
Sorry. I didn't want people to think you were dead. I wanted them to know you were alive. And I didn't specify. I just said you needed to put something away and stop playing with it. It could have been an action figure. It could have been an old Coleco football game. I don't know. I didn't specify.
Gino's alive, and he's here, and his pants are off. That's all I'm going to say.
He's touching something he shouldn't be. That's all.
Touching your hearts. Touching your souls. What else happened on the show? Ooh, WrestleMania 33 hosts. New Day.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a strange thing, because I saw two reactions. One, fuck, they don't care about them at all. They got nothing else for them to fucking do, so they're making stupid ass hosts. And two, oh, this is awesome. This means they really care about New Day, even though they don't have a match for them. They've got this big ass thing for them to do. Like, what a great thing. Like, how's that big of a gap between either they don't care at all or they care a lot?
I don't think they're entirely. I mean, I think for me, it's more the latter. I think you don't go out of your way to give them this role unless you value them. But it's also, we don't really have anything for them to do in the traditional sense, so we're giving them this.
Isn't their strength the cool shit they do as opposed to their matches? New Day matches kind of suck.
Agree. I mean, I don't think that's entirely their fault. I mean, we see how Raw values. We see how WWE values tag wrestling in general. The Raw champs are fodder for making Roman look strong. Don't at me. That's what it is. The SmackDown champs, I guess, are going to eventually feud with the Usos when they have time to do that. I mean,
okay, but I don't know, man, because the Shield were the Shield when they didn't even have a tag division, and they were fucking dope. Every Shield match ever was fun.
The Shield was never confined to the tag division, really. Even when they had the tag belts, it was about what the Shield was doing in the main event. They just happened to have tag team feuds.
I suppose, but all their matches were always fun, no matter who they were against in any tag situation. So I don't know. I guess I don't want to cut New Day. New Day gets slack.
I mean, who was the great? And who was the great Shield tag team feud?
The Rhodes.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I hardly even remember those matches, though. I remember the matches. The matches I remember were the Wyatt's matches. And that was about the build more than the match.
You don't remember that battleground with Cody and Dustin when Dusty got his job back?
I mean, I remember it a little bit, but
oh man, I'm pretty sure that one match of the year.
I don't.
On our side, at least. I don't know on other sides, but no, that's fair. And plus, they were also booked incredibly strong. And New Day's kind of mid card.
Yeah, I mean,
the Shield were never mid card.
Yeah,
so that's fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, but either way, too, right? It's like, okay, they don't have a match. It's like, oh, this is disrespect to them. It's like, you're weird. You're fucking.
Yeah, you don't know that. This is the AJ Shane argument too. You can be upset that you don't want that match, but that doesn't mean that they don't think AJ is important. It pretty clearly means the opposite. They don't hand out McMahon matches lightly. He came back for Taker, and then his follow up is going to be AJ. That's a rub.
Yeah, Shane's had 2 matches since he came back 10 years ago. Or somebody said, I saw something. Someone said he hasn't won a singles match in over a decade. He's had 8 of them. He's had 8 of them, and they were all against Randy Orton and big time guys. That's what he does. Yeah. He's against big time guys. If you're in a match against Shane McMahon, that's not to say you're going to get a rub from working with him, but it is to say they think you're a big time guy if you're wrestling that guy.
Yep.
It's like it's like with Undertaker. You don't get to wrestle Undertaker unless you're a big fucking deal.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just what it is. People would argue otherwise because I guess he did team with Kane against the Wyatts, but Why it's
I don't know. I think we one thing that like the long. I don't think anybody's crazy with how they've presented Bray over the years, but they've never made him feel like he didn't have value to them, right? I mean, maybe they didn't present him as a main eventer, but they always saw him as a valuable player. He got things to do that they promoted, which that's really at the end of the day, we can get all worked up about wins and losses, but that's the business.
Yep.
You're somebody who they think is popular enough with people that people will care what you're doing, even if it's bullshit. And that's what they've done with New Day here. So that's, yeah. I mean, I think it speaks to an overall problem with like sort of their booking and what they decide to push at this time of year, maybe a little bit, but it doesn't mean that they don't care about New Day.
No, we didn't write about this, and we probably missed out on some hits for it. Actually, I'm probably going to make you write about it when we get off the show.
I'm not going to do it. They
ran the Russian hacking angle. I think it might be a longer-term plan for Lana. I don't have nothing to back that up other than she reverted back to old Lana, who was like in control. Like she didn't say Rusev's the only man that can have me. She brought him out like she used to. Had the bun, had the red dress, the power dress. She was acting like the old character. And then they did the Russian hacking angle, which was like, holy shit. They're actually doing current event type shit. And doing it in such a way that was like kind of they didn't like beat you over the head with it, I guess, but it was like it was a comedy. It was for the comedy, you know. We went digital and like, oh, we stole your, oh, you know, she's Russian, and it was like kind of subtle but not so subtle, and ultimately didn't mean anything because they were like ice cream, so whatever. Like, and it's a mid card kind of thing, so you know, cool. But it's still kind of interesting to me that they would go that route, considering their ties to the Trump administration. Like. Because isn't that the whole? That's why I didn't want to write about it myself. Because I'm like, I don't really know. I try not to keep up too much on all the current shit. So
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
but isn't it that the Russians were?
I guess making it out to be a joke could be seen as Jesus Christ. They're I don't know what's going on. I guess playing it out as a joke. I mean, that could be their way of saying that they don't think it's important. Like they don't think that's why Trump got elected. Maybe that they're playing it as a joke.
I just thought it was interesting they'd bring attention to it at all.
I don't know. The thing that's interesting to me, one of the reasons I haven't written about it is because I still haven't. I saw part of the YouTube clip, but I didn't even watch all of it. This comes. I mean, she did a bunch of interviews recently where she was talking about the roots of her character and how Vince and Dusty wanted her to be this strong woman that controlled everything. So maybe they are. Maybe they had her go out and start talking about that because they were planning to reestablish her that way. They got to do something. They need to fucking reboot Rusev, unfortunately, at this point, because he's a joke. Sadly, I mean, I think they can get, like I said, they can always. They're in charge of everything, so they can make us take him seriously again. But they've got some work to do before that happens.
Yeah, so. He's headed straight for the Andre.
Yep.
And he's not going to win.
And not to win it, right? Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. It is really unfortunate where he currently is, considering where he was at one point. I mean, this guy that worked with Cena at Mania a couple years ago. And he is capable of so much more than what they have given him. Yep. Granted, he's hurt.
Well, but apparently I saw this today. I haven't had a chance to dig into it at all, but apparently he's not wearing the face shield on the road. So that's, at this point, he doesn't need it.
Maybe it's gimmick then.
Maybe that ties into some sort of plan to reboot them or something. I don't know, but
and I think the other thing too is like I don't get too upset about that because like we talked about before, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and also like there are going to be times when a guy kind of floats and it's not clicking right at the right moment, or whatever happens, or they're in a thing that doesn't really go over so well, or they don't have anything really particularly going for him at that time, so he just. And that continues to be the case on a long enough timeline. Suddenly it's Mania season. You go, we can't heat him up now. So we'll just, it's fine. He'll float for now. And that's okay. We've got a lot of other stuff going on. We can get back to him later. So it's not like, that happens. I mean, it's not the end of the world. That wouldn't happen to a bigger star like a Cena, let's say. But even fucking Cena. He's not going to be in the huge marquee, crazy main event level match. He might be in a tag match. And even if the proposal thing is something that we've worked ourselves into, there's nothing hinting at that from them. That's entirely possible. Nothing like that happened.
Well, they do bring it up an awful lot. I mean, that's been the whole focus of the Natty angle. I don't think it's. I don't think they haven't done anything to promise it, but they've definitely kept it in the discussion.
They talked about it enough that we kind of took it to its where we feel like
kind of like reinforcing the ring for the main event, where everybody had themselves convinced they were going to do a ring break spot, and then they didn't. So
yeah, it was just to kind of build up the idea of the story that they are the characters within what they were doing. So, and yeah, in this case, it's just an easy way for Natty to piss off Nikki, and not necessarily because this is going to lead to that. So it's probably us doing that, but the point is, even if that's the case, I mean, it's not a top 4 match at Mania. I don't even think. Probably not even top 4.
I don't know. It depends on whether or not we get Shaq's show.
Fuck, I'll be so pissed if that match doesn't happen. I'll be legitimately upset. They've been building this forever. I mean, they have show cutting promos on him, going to the ESPYs, challenging him, Shaq doing promos on show and fucking inside the NBA stuff. But they were in Los Angeles. I don't know if that's Shaq's area, or I don't know if that's where they do that program out of inside the NBA, and that what his gig is now.
Yeah, but isn't that a team? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird that they would just job him out with no. I mean, not that. I mean, job in the sense that just that he lost, not that he was made to look bad.
Yeah, I thought he. Yeah,
I think they would. Great. It's just a weird. I don't know. I would have thought that there would have been some angle involved to sort of either have Shaq show up or at least mention it, or otherwise try to like make him look a little bit more, I don't know, important. There's nothing here that makes me feel like this story is going to continue. Like he's the latest big guy that Braun beat. It was a great match.
It'd be interesting if they had him kind of come out and be like, well, I got myself into great shape. I wanted to revitalize my career, but I've realized that I guess I'm old enough I can't hang with the young lions anymore. Because Strowman's one eliminated him at the Rumble, and then beat him on Raw in a good match. But I'm not there anymore. But there's one thing I wanted to do before I retire, or I don't think there's any more matchups left for me. I've conquered as much as I need to conquer, and then Shaq shows up, and he's like, well. You threw a challenge down at the ESPYs, so there's one matchup left for you. And, I'll whoop your ass, send you on your way, and be like a retirement thing. I think it'd be a cool way they could do it, but I agree with you in the sense that I thought, well, if there's any time to build it or, like, allude to it in some they're not even talking about it. They're not even, like, mentioning it.
Nope.
So it's like, I wonder what's going on. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I hope it happens. I don't think there's really anything else to talk about from the show, is there? Enzo and Cass are tag contenders.
Yeah, number one contenders, and people are finally starting to boo them, kind of.
Good for them. Yeah. Good for them, I guess. Sheamus bro kicked Enzo and got a thank you Sheamus chant. So that tells you people are already starting to turn on Enzo and all his shtick. What do we go? You knew eventually people would be like, oh, here we go with this fucking voice. And, he fucks chicken.
It is delicious chicken, but yeah,
I tried it.
You should probably eat it and not fuck it.
I tried it. I'm not on your level, was it? It's decent.
You're an idiot.
I love it. I don't agree with your opinion, therefore, I'm an idiot.
Well, that's how you feel about Walking Dead fans, right? So.
Oh, those people can get fucked.
See, there you go. Man of contradictions, Gino Morasco.
I said it, Decker. Don't come in the cage side orifices coming in.
How dare you ruin Decker's fun?
I know. Fuck me. Don't go there with me, Sean. I'm not having it today. I am not having it. I
just like to point out the contradictions. That's all.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. No, it'd be different if Decker was in the middle of an episode and I walked in and was like, only shitheads actually enjoy this.
All right.
But if he came in and was like, dude,
the same thing. But
if he came in and was like, dude, can't believe this crazy twist in this episode, and I was like, oh, you act like there are no crazy twists in other episodes, then I'd be a shitbag. That's not what I would do, though. I love Decker. He's a good dude.
All right.
Love me, Sean. Just love me.
I do.
What else? Anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
We always skip the cruiserweights, and it's my favorite thing that we just don't think to talk about.
I didn't see anything that they did last night, so that's why. I mean, I saw that they had the contract signing, but I didn't even watch it.
Neville came out and signed the contract, and then he started to walk away. And Gallagher's like, or Gallagher.
Yeah.
Gallagher is like, wait a minute.
Gallagher? I don't even know. Now you got me confused. I don't know.
He's like, wait a minute. I thought I'd offer you some tea and crumpets. And Neville's like, you're a fucking stereotype, dude. Like, we all laugh at you because you're dumb. You're not what this really is. You just act like this because you're just a walking stereotype. You're not even a real person. You're what people think of. And he's like, and Gallagher was like, no, I'm just me. Then they fought. The abridged version kind of nailed it. The funny abridged thing. Mm-hmm. That's basically what happened. Neville's like, you're silly. He's like, so? I'm still a gentleman. And then they fought, and that was that. It's like, all right. I thought it was cool. Neville's really good. Mm-hmm. It's a cool angle to take, like, because Gallagher is silly. Like, this is ridiculous. He's like, he takes it so seriously.
That's why people like him, yeah.
Yeah, but he kind of takes it seriously. Like, I that's fine if people think that, but I am a gentleman. This is how I act. This is who I am. This is whatever. All right, that's good for you, I guess, but it's goofy as fuck. I was like, I'm going to kill you. My problem is Gallagher doesn't look intimidating in any way. I can't buy it. I can't. I'm sorry. He looks like he weighs 8 pounds. There's nothing about you that's, Neville at least is thick.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like if he threw a punch, it would hurt if it connected. Gallagher looks like he's like, I'd hold him out, you extend your arm and his face is in it and and his arms are like flailing wildly, like trying to punch you and you're just laughing at him. He looks like that to me. Like that kind of guy. So
sweet.
The cruiserweights suck. Kendrick fucked with Akira Tawaza or whatever the fuck.
Zawa, but close enough.
Yoshihiro Akiyama. And then the Nia Jax beat somebody up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's all.
Good time.
Romy wanted to take out Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows by himself.
Yeah, we alluded to that briefly, but he overcame.
Used a chair, yeah.
He overcame, and then at the end he couldn't overcome, but we'll have to tune in to Fastlane to see if he can overcome.
Foley's like, find a partner. The Rock is in the building. Romy's like, no, I'll handle it on my own. Well, you couldn't fucking make Anderson and Gallows look worse if you tried.
No, they actually look worse with the belts than they did without them, which is
significantly worse.
Take some fucking doing.
They got the straps, and it was like, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna make Roman look strong, and that's not a joke. It's actually what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole thing. Is you're gonna go out there and you're gonna beat on him, but he's gonna overcome you every time. You just won't technically lose. You'll technically win by DQ. But you're going to eat a big-ass spear off the top rope before you leave. So just, go put him over.
FYI.
Well, we're getting to work with Romy, huh? We're getting the rub. If there was some dumbass fan, I guess. He's a good brother. It's a hoot. It's a hoot working with Romy.
We're making green and being mean. No, we're not being that mean, but
we're going to make some towns with some good brothers. A hoot. Fuck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Graps his life. Did you go out? Are we?
No, no. Oh,
that's an extended silence.
Graps his life.
I don't know. I'm just being a shithead. Someone mentioned it again, talking shit because I said Graps is a dumb word a while back. Someone else said it, and they're like, "You can be a grump with cage side." I'm like, "Hey, I was kidding." Again. Who gives a fuck?
You're not allowed to be grumpy or too excited. Would you just find your fucking line and stay in it? Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Fuck. My new lane is I'll be back Wednesday with Gavin about grappling, where people don't get to talk shit. Let's do what I want.
Graps his life.